Hi there guys, welcome to the new podcast series with Diamond Rush. Today we're going to be talking about E3 and all the new gameplay releases. So, Diamond Rush, welcome. This is our podcast. We're going to be talking about Xbox One first. We have Call of Duty up. What do you think of it?
Well, the new one's it's annoying because Call of Duty series has been repeating itself ever since it went futuristic and they haven't thought about doing anything different. They've been doing the same thing. So, in basic terms, no, I'm not excited for it and I'm not going to get it when it comes out.
Yeah, just so you know guys, ever since Black Ops 2, Diamond here has not been so happy with it. But this new game, just so in case you don't actually know about it, it's the most that Call of Duty has ever done in terms of going into advanced weaponry, henceforth advanced warfare. Because the one thing that it has that's actually new to it is it's got an exoskeleton that you wear all the time, which allows you to have immersed strength. It allows you to jump really high. I think you've got a little jetpack, I think if I remember right. But you know, it's like they've started to come along with this. Like we saw exoskeletons and robots in the old Black Ops 2. You know, we saw these drones throughout the campaign, and then I remember in the multiplayer there was something called an AGR, which is like a little kill bot you have. Like I called it the Midget Terminator, which I thought was funny. But the question that I have, Diamond, is just what now? Where do they go?
If they want to do good, they want to go back and remember Call of Duty World of War? They did a trench thing, which was really popular, and I consider probably one of the best, not the best, but one of the best. And I think if Call of Duty want to expand, they should go back. And another way they could expand, which a lot of people don't really know, which is surprising, but the old Call of Duty Zombies, on Black Ops 2, they had a storyline, and the storyline was so solid. It was brilliant.
Yes.
Not a lot of people actually didn't know it had a storyline. People thought it was a shooter, but it actually had a really good storyline.
Yes.
And then they ruined it.
Yeah. I'm
not going to spoil anything if anyone wants to watch it. But
it was just some DLCs managed to drag it out too far.
And what they're doing now is, I think apparently they're going to expand it out, but I don't really know that well. But if they want to fix it and want to get better, they should have to fix the zombies and fix the gameplay because it's too futuristic.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I agree with Diamond's point here. I mean, if you've played, Finest Hour, which is the first Call of Duty that they ever made, it was trench warfare. It was World War One. It was one of the best ones they made. Just as something, it's that first type of game, and it has that feel to it in the way that next gen games and editing and software with graphics that we can do now. We can immerse the player that just allows so much fun with the game that induces fear, emotion, and just as something of being trench warfare. It just gives that historical feel to it. It's just one of those games where first person shooter wise, it's eventually you've got to come to a point where you think, where do we come now? Where have we came from? What did our audience like the best?
Well, it's ridiculous. It's just money now. It's just they want to pump another generic shooter out because, in fairness, they can't do much. Like a comparison to Battlefield, the new one, Hardline.
Yeah.
They've clearly run out of ideas, and now they're doing a cops and robbers thing.
Yeah, but that was an alright idea, though.
It was okay, but they didn't. They could have done something different. They could have done it in space or something. I don't know. They could have done it a lot better than what they did because they're basically just running out of ideas, like Call of Duty. And I'm not a Call of Duty fan, if you haven't figured it out yet. But I like the game to get better because the ideas are just dragging them down. They've got a good idea. They had a good idea that was very successful because pretty much half of the world wants to play Call of Duty games. God knows why. But when people want to play it and they've got a good idea for futuristic, and then they just stop, and now they're going to carry on doing the same generic thing over and over again and end up ruining it.
I mean, yeah, like I say, it's just the Call of Duty is one of the big franchises out there that millions of people want to buy and want to play. But the thing with Call of Duty, as soon as multiplayer came into it, it just came into, yes, it was fun at first, you get yourself the first prestige, it's like, yay, but as soon as they introduced the thing of, there's like 15 prestige, it just became a grind fest. Because it was just that simple thing of just, I'm doing the same thing again. Yes, I have fun with my friends, I can get myself top kill streak and everything, which, it is fun.
Don't get me wrong, it can be quite addicting.
Yes,
like playing with your mates, it can be fun.
But the problem is that, it just becomes grinding within games, which, although some people may like, the majority of people don't because they want to see something new all the time. So, getting on to more cooperative, team player based games, we have a new IP coming out later this year called Evolve. Diamond Rush, what do you know about this?
Well, as far as I'm aware, it's 4 players who are on a team, and they have to destroy a monster. And the monster is controlled also by a player, so it's not just an AI. It makes the game a lot more unique, and it makes it a lot more one of a kind, because a lot of games like that generally tend to have AI in the centre.
Yes. Which is what we've seen with a couple of new games. What game that we can compare this to that before it comes out is Battlefield 3, because you are able to choose different classes within the game. And it's the exact same thing with Evolve, because you have a 4-player team. It's one's a medic, your support, one is a damage dealer, which is very, it's a very classical thing of in any type of game. And then there's a new one, which not many people really see in games these days. It's something called a trapper or tracker, because this person is something that has nothing that any of the other classes have, which what allows the team to trap the monster if played correctly. But yes, as Dan Rush was saying, the monster is played by a person, which means that it's a lot more unique than other games, because normally when it comes to this, we compare, if it was to be an AI monster, we could compare this to zombies or extinction in the new Call of Duty Ghosts. But it's not, it's a player, which means that you're dealing with more of a harder adversary. And I think Diamond Rush, you probably aren't as keen with this kind of game, are you?
Well, I am, because I do like co-op games. It looks a bit samey. It looks like it's going to become repetitive.
Right.
A case like that happened with me with GTA 5. It was
Yes.
really good when it came out, brilliant. It was
Yes.
unique and amazing. But then after a few days of playing it, it got a bit repetitive. Same as the worried I'm about Watch Dogs. I'm worried about that because people say that's got a lot repetitive once you've done the main stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that is true that, some games like this, it can become repetitive because it's like, you're like, okay guys, we've got to do the same thing again, and then you'll get more repetitive as it goes along, and then once you know what you're doing, it gets boring.
Mm-hmm.
However, one thing that we can say that this game will be, it's probably going to be a lot of fun with your friends.
Oh yeah,
because-
definitely.
Yeah, I can just see like you're having a lot of fun with your friends on this. But what I can also say is that another game that shares a lot more fun and probably brings a lot more of adrenaline to it is the new Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh yeah, very interested in that.
Would you expand on this?
Okay, so basically, if you've never played the Assassin's Creed series before, I'd recommend giving it a go because it is quite fun. Obviously, the newer ones are a bit rubbish because they keep repeating themselves, but the overall idea is that you play as an assassin who kills people and uses parkour. That's as basically as I can explain it. And what they've done is, throughout the entire games, they've had multiplayer, but the multiplayer has been rubbish. It's been awful.
Because it's its greatest.
Yeah, because it's just a Call of Duty thing, but they've got stupid game modes which make no sense for Assassin's Creed. But now they've got it where you can play with 4 players, which is amazing. However, it's only Xbox and PS4 exclusive, which is a massive shame because they've forgotten about the PS3 and Xbox 360 users.
But what this means is that they are now kicking up a notch with the Assassin's Creed series of that we are going to focus all of our resources onto our new next-gen titles, because this allows us to use graphics and other, parts of the machine that allows them to make the game a lot more better and smooth. Now guys, the one thing that you might not know about this game is that where it's set, it is not set in Rome anymore.
As you can see on the screen, it's set in revolutionary France.
Yes, and the one thing I do like about this is that this is, as far as I can see, the one type of Assassin's Creed where the public is actually rooting for you in terms of where you see in the E3 demo of where you walk through a crowd with one of your friends and you take out a guard, and this influences the public to charge through and take out all the other guards and begin the revolution of all these posh people found within the building. But the one thing that brings this new to all the other Assassin's Creed is that, yes, it is cooperative. You can have 4 players. What can you tell me about this?
Well, they've improved the game quite a lot. So to someone who's never played a Assassin's Creed game, it would look the same. But if you've played it for a while, you'd notice there'd be a few difference with the free running style. On the older games, if you run up a wall, it wouldn't work. But now they've fixed it so it's smoother and it's a lot more nicer to control. But mainly with the online thing, they've got it so 4 players can play the storyline, which when I heard of it was amazing because they've done the same thing that Evolve have done, which they've got new classes.
Yes.
So you can have a guy with a sword, you can have a stealthy guy, you can have a guy with a mallet, You know, you can have a lot of cool stuff, and I really want to get to play that when it comes out on the PS4 because it sounds really interesting.
Yes, and I think probably in the future, guys, when we do end up getting these games, I think we will show you them on the
Oh,
channel.
definitely, we're definitely playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of fun in how we can talk about this is more so on what me and you might possibly do. I mean, I can already see a thing of if we had to take out a particular target, one of us could focus on where he's travelling while the other one takes out the guards from behind.
Exactly, it's one of those. It's a great idea, I think, for Assassin's Creed because the recent games have been single player, which is, I think the other games. I'll be honest, put my hands up. The game has been boring. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, on the other hand, was great. That was exciting.
Was a lot more open
but the
world.
older ones, like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Brotherhood, things like that, it got boring. There wasn't many new features. There were some new features, like in Brotherhood with the partnering system, where you could not two players, mind you, but where you could send an AI to kill someone.
Yes.
I thought that was okay, but now they've upgraded. No, but now they've upgraded it, and I thought that was a really good idea to have multiplayer on a Assassin's Creed single player mode.
Yes, and as far as cooperative goes, that is one of probably the most in-depth cooperative players go as far as Evolve and Assassin's Creed go. However, on to the next type of game title.
We're gonna put, well, this is a franchise I'm not interested in very much, but we'll talk about it. The Halo.
Yes, we have Halo. If you guys don't know, I am a big Halo fan.
And if you guys know, I am not, because I didn't have an Xbox when I was younger. I was gifted with a PlayStation, so I never bothered playing the Halos.
Just so you know, guys, I had an Xbox first, so my heart is set with Halo, with one of the first games that I played.
So basically, this will be me agreeing with whatever he's saying because I don't like Halo. And to be fair, I've never been interested really in it. It's more of a boring thing for me. But I'll let you explain because the new games sound incredibly interesting, actually.
So what we have is that, you know, at the E3 press conference for the Xbox, we had something that many of us speculated would eventually come because it's one of those things that has happened with other games where they've compacted it into one disc or a box of them. We have the Master Chief Collection. That was one of the new things that they have released about the Halo franchise. The Master Chief Collection consists of Halo 1 to 4, and it's all of the games with Master Chief in, hence was the collection of them. But the one thing I do like is that they've also given the anniversary treatment to Halo 2. And, you know, that was probably one of the most fun games because it, out of the other ones, it allowed dual wielding, which actually changed up the gameplay a bit, but it never seemed to stick. Like, it was fun, but after time you realise that it's not as accurate when it comes to longer range and all that good stuff. But however, we also have the new game trailer, which is Halo 5, which, if I'm honest, I got butterflies. It was just awesome for me. Diamond Rush, have you actually watched this trailer?
I have seen it. I did when I saw it first away. I was like, "Huh, Destiny," and then I came with Halo, and I was like, "Oh, Halo, right? Yes." But yeah, it was interesting. Again, like I said, I'm not a Halo fan, but it did look interesting. The thing that I want to understand, which I'll ask you, is if the Halos have changed, because as far as I've seen, it's all the same rubbish, really. But has it been?
I'm not a fan of you saying rubbish, but I can't explain on that. What we have here, as if you have not watched the E3 press conference for Xbox, is that we have the Master Chief. He is questioning his role in the world now, because if you did not play Halo 4, which was an okay game, not the greatest, but an okay game out of the franchise, Cortana was lost. His AI companion that he had to protect from day one from Halo Combat Evolve, she has unfortunately gone. She died out her time as an AI, was unfortunately, you know, gone, and she died. But what really puzzles me, which is what they haven't talked about, is what this new Spartan is, because the one thing that the trailer explains is that the thing of your future as this new Spartan that you will play as will react with the past of what has happened to Master Chief. And I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't know what is going to happen, because as far as Spartans go, I only know about where humanity has created them, because this Spartan does not look like the standard ones that we've seen from Master Chief to all the other Spartans that we've seen in the past Halo games. However, apart from that, we do have also another trailer of the multiplayer, which has always been a very popular thing. It's the red versus blue, you know, it's
Halo 1, wasn't it?
Halo 1, I can't remember if they introduced that. I know I have it in Halo 2, Halo 1 they might, I'm not too sure, I can't remember. If you guys do know, please comment. However, it's always one of those popular things because it allowed that feel of, in the game, when you play single player, you feel your height, your strength, you feel like a badass, you know, and you just have that great feeling. However, in the multiplayer, that is still in it, but then you realise, hang on, these guys are as equal to me, and you have to deal with that. And what we found is that the new game is going to have so many different new abilities, and we don't know what it's going to be like, but there is a beta coming. We don't know when, but the beta is coming out soon for the multiplayer of Halo 5. So the next game that we are going to talk about, guys, is Tomb Raider. Now, they have made a lot of games of these, and it has built up a big passion. They released the newest Tomb Raider a while ago. It was good, and it was based on the beginning of Lara Croft and her journey into it. Diamond Rush, please tell me what you think this rise could be like, because it's based more on the Tomb rating.
Well, firstly, I disagree with you on saying that the newest one was good, because it was awful. But I'm not gonna talk about the first one because that's not what we're here for. So this new one, I haven't heard much about it. All I've seen is the trailer, and it does look like hopefully they've made the right choice and to make it actually raiding tombs rather than third person shooting people. Basically, I do hope, because I've liked the Tomb Raider games. I haven't played them as much. I've played some of the older ones, but I've never actually got into it. But hopefully, with the new graphics and new things like that, it should look unbelievable with new gameplays and things like that.
Yes, but yeah, guys, like, this is what I'm saying. We've only watched the trailers to these, you know. I'm sure that you have only done this because I don't know that they've released a demo. I don't think you do either.
Well, what we're doing is, while we've been talking, on screen will be gameplays and trailers of things we've been talking about.
Of course, because obviously we rather you guys see what we're talking about than think, what is that they're talking about?
Another blank screen.
But yeah, guys, Rise of Tomb Raider, it's going to be bringing in farther into the beginning of Lara Croft's story and her idea of raiding tombs, as we hear about in the trailer as she's going through what looks like therapy. However, bringing up to another game that is quite interesting but very, you know, can compare it to a couple of games, is Witcher 3. Now, as far as I know about this, is that it has a lot larger area of playing than Skyrim. I don't know much on the Witchers, but as far as the demo goes, it looks like this one's based a lot more on hunting, considering the name of it is Wild Hunt. What I've seen from the in-game footage is that you can actually track something with, like, its blood, where the trail is gone. You're able to look down on the floor and you can see the trail, and that is how you follow this. I mean, like, in the trailer we see a griffin that you attack and you want to find and kill, and I guess obviously you're going to earn money from this or whatever this hunt is for, because we do not know. We only see the tracking and the fighting. But apart from that, The Witcher it's basically like, you can compare it to Skyrim because it has that element of, you know, free roam. It is in third person, which Skyrim does have. It introduces what looks like magical abilities, as we see. It has those crazy creatures. The Witcher, as far as I can see, seems to be a lot more depth though. Like, I would, if I played this more, I could maybe argue that Witcher might be a little bit better than Skyrim, because I was never truly a big fan of Skyrim. I couldn't get myself into it. However, going on to another game that I think is quite intriguing to myself is something that you guys may not have seen, which is Scalebound. Now, we don't know anything on this. It is literally just a trailer that we've seen. It shows a man running through as what appears to be urban clothing is what he's wearing. You know, he's got like his jacket, headphones, and however, he seems to be in a mystical land, which is something that we don't really see. However, with the newer games coming out, we have seen a lot more present urban elements put into these different games, which is influencing that thing of, it's all new, but what can we do with it?
Unfortunately, we'll only be talking about the trailer at this point because we haven't seen much gameplay. And to be honest, I don't want to see much gameplay because it looks, just from the trailer, I know it's pre-rendered. I personally don't like pre-rendered trailers because it shows everything about the game. But it does look really interesting, especially the headphones. I love the headphones. That's my favourite part, where he just puts the headphones on.
Yeah, that's actually the whole game, guys. It's just headphones. You just got to choose what headphones. You've got to complete like small puzzles just to put on this set of headphones.
Personally, I'd buy.
But no, guys. Like, I mean, what I can can see from trailer-wise, there is a part that shows what could be cooperative. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be AI cooperative, but by the looks of it, we see other riders of dragons, in the game, and it shows other players. But that is not pretty much it that we can talk about as far as what the game entitles, because there's not much on it. There really isn't any information. I couldn't find anything on it. Bringing up to the end of this podcast, I think we're probably going to end with probably one of the most graphically enhanced games out, or should I say coming soon to these new next-gen consoles, which is The Division. It is something that we have seen and have ideas of this apocalyptic present-day world, but it's not a zombie apocalypse. It is all about the thing of Manhattan. It's all about the apocalypse that occurs in Manhattan. That is where it's set. It's set in Manhattan, and if you've watched the trailers, guys, the first trailer that they ever showed you down at E3 last year explains it all about this disease that occurs on a day called Black Friday in America. This game is a lot more in depth than you really think as far as graphical terms goes. I mean, this is running off a particular engine. Dan Rush, can you tell me about this engine?
Well, basically the engine's a new development, the Snowdrop engine, which is unbelievable. As you can see on the screen right now, it looks unbelievable. It's been in development for quite a long time, and now it's being made, and it looks amazing. And I like games that take the abandoned route and don't go zombies, because that's I think that's more of like a waste of time, really.
Yes,
it's like it's like a cheap answer. Like The Last of Us could have been amazing, but then they made zombies in it, and it became boring. For me personally, a lot of people don't like that, but that's what I think. Anyway, but this game does look incredibly interesting. The fact that it's like Assassin's Creed in a way. It's like it's got the idea where you can play with your mates and decide whether they want to be good or bad.
Yes.
You can choose to be a gang members, like taking up a factory. You're looking for like supplies and stuff. Or you could be the kind of the police and kind of like protect people, which I thought was amazing. I thought it was a really good idea.
Yes, we do see that kind of element within the cinematic trailer. The one thing I do like about this game is that it's apocalyptic and it is based in Manhattan, but it's not a zombie apocalypse. You would expect thinking that it's going to be a crafting system, you've got to find weapons and all this. It's actually not, because the people you play as are an elite team of special ops that knew that this apocalypse was coming, which means that they are already teched out and prepared for this, which is what gives you a little bit of the advantage within the game. However, this game is based on online basis, meaning that you will find other players within the game. And as Darren Rush was just explaining there, you can choose to either go help them out with whatever situation they're in, whether it be just for searching to something in a firefight, or you can join a firefight and actually take out the opposite opponent. But this game also introduces another thing of exploration and graphic enhancement, as Dan Rush was explaining with the Snowdrop engine, because they've done a lot of research into how certain things react with certain elements, such as a bullet going through glass to a door shutting, to how the environment will affect metal over time. They have done so much research and graphical enhancement within these engines that they're using with next-gen consoles to input so much realism to this new game.
That's practically all we can talk about, really, is the fact that the game looks unbelievable. Obviously, everyone agrees it's the most stunning game that's probably going to come out soon.
It's one of the most advanced games that I've seen as far as graphics go.
And the idea of it is also really good. It's like new, it's different, it's not copying off anything else. It's maybe a little bit similar to Assassin's Creed, the idea of them online. But that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure we'll be getting it if we ever get consoles.
You will definitely see gameplay of this, guys, because it's a third-person shooter. One thing that we haven't explained yet is that, as I've just said, it's a third-person shooter, and you also get little gadgets with it. Like, I don't know if you've seen in the demos, we've seen it from where you're able to use a little mine drone, which, it rolls across the floor and then explodes, to a little blinding device that hovers in the air, which I think is actually quite clever, because it means that you can input plans and initiate certain areas differently, which influences more of that team play basis that we've seen with a lot of games lately. It's one of those games where I think it's going to do well. I doubt it's going to become a game that will get repetitive. Whether or not that over time-wise, it's going to dry out and just become one of those games where I'll play it for an hour with my friends.
Like GTA 5 becoming really grindy and annoying.
Yes, that GTA 5 is another way we can say grinding, and so is Call of Duty. But this game, I doubt it because it's a new type of element within it. But we don't know much on it as far as storyline wise and gameplay.
There probably is one. It's not like a linear path. It's more like a kind of gives you a scenario, fend for yourself type feel to it, which is really good. Like Skyrim.
Yes, I mean Skyrim gives you storylines, but it's not so much you follow them willingly.
You do whatever you want. You can go find side missions. Same with this game. You can go and do whatever the hell you want.
Yes, which is one thing that I like because it allows the player to say, right, I'm going to do this now, but I will definitely do this later, and I will save you for last.
I really do hope to have character customization. That'll be just my life. You know, like having colours, choosing like team names, like taking like GTA 5 step on things, having a crew, and having them name stuff, and having clothes that match each other, and having like equipment that's been customised to characters, things like that.
Yes, I can definitely see that coming into it because we've seen it where it's been up to 4 players, but only 3 of them have actually been human. There was a 4th player who operates a drone targeting device, which, believe it or not, guys, is actually operated by a tablet device. Which is actually quite weird because we haven't seen this in any of the other games as far as, putting in another device to the live game going on your console. We haven't seen this.
So the only thing I think of to match with it is like Game of Thrones. They had a thing where they had the TV special where the TV came on, you get your iPad or whatever on, and it has a map of the place and it shows you where the people are during the TV show.
Oh.
So that kind of does match with the game, and now the games took it. But the only problem is, if you don't have a device or anything, hopefully that's not going to stop you.
No, I mean, I don't, possibly guys, I think this could just be as far as playing humans go, as far as what we've seen from demo, because we're just speculating everything else at the minute, which is why some of the information that we're seeing will probably not be true, some of it may work, some of it may not come into play.
Most of this is just opinions.
It's opinions, it's speculation, which I'm sure you guys are as well, if you've watched these demos that we have watched as well. And as you're watching it now on screen, you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about as far as gadgets go, in depth of graphics. But I truly think that The Division is going to be one of the best games that has come out for next gen this year and throughout the next couple of years that I hope. This has been the Xbox One podcast with TideTurner and Diamond Rush. I do hope you've enjoyed. We have the PlayStation releases coming up on Diamond Rush's channel very soon, I hope. And until then, guys, I'm going to have to say farewell, so I'll catch you in the next. And yeah.
I'll see you all on my video.
Bye.
See ya.